Teacher's Pet by Katie Dale, illustrated by Elif Balta Parks. White Book Band. Chapter 1. Come on, Gizmo, said Tom, picking up Gizmo's cage. Today you're coming to school for show and tell. Are you excited? Gizmo didn't reply. After all, Gizmo was a hamster. Plus, Gizmo was asleep. Hamsters always slept during the day. But he was still very cute and fluffy, and Tom couldn't wait to show him to everyone. At school, everyone was showing the things they brought in. Anya had brought a huge ostrich egg, and Chris was holding a knight's helmet. But as Tom walked in, everyone hurried over to peer into Gizmo's cage. Awesome! Chris grinned. He's so cute, Anya cooed. Tom smiled. He knew everyone would love Gizmo. Well, nearly everyone. What is that? Mr. Hansen said, walking into the classroom and pointing at the cage. This is Gizmo, said Tom. I brought him for a show and tell. What is that? Wait, is that a hamster? Mr. Hansen's eyes widened and his nose twitched. But I'm allergic to achoo! He sneezed and sat down quickly. Achoo! 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 Oh no! Mr. Hansen must be allergic. Hamsters, said Crutch. My mom's allergic to dogs. They make her sneeze too. My uncle's allergic to bee stings, added Anya. He has to go to the hospital if he gets stung. Oh no, said Tom. Shall we fetch the nurse? But before anyone could do anything, the strangest thing happened. Mr. Hansen stopped sneezing and started snoring. He curled up on his chair, his eyes tightly closed. Mr. Hansen, Anya said quietly, Are you asleep? No, I'm not. Not, came a voice, but it wasn't Mr. Hansen who spoke. It was Gizmo. Let me out of this cage, Gizmo demanded. Everyone stared at the hamster. Gizmo? Tom said slowly. Did you just talk? I am not Gizmo, the hamster squeaked. I am your teacher, Mr. Hansen. Oh no. Chapter 2. Oh my gosh! Mr. Hansen must have swapped bodies with Gizmo. Tom gasped. That's why he's asleep. Hamsters are nocturnal. But that's impossible, argued Anya. So is a talking hamster, said Crutch. But how did you turn into a hamster, Mr. Hansen? Tom asked, opened the cage. He'd always thought if his teacher was a bit hamster-like, with his big teeth and twisty mustache, but he never actually turned into one before. I have very rare allergy, the hamster sighed. It runs in my family. Whenever I'm near hamsters, I turn into one. We have to tell the head mistress, Anya said. No, Mr. Hansen cried. Please, you can't tell anyone, not today of all days. Fear shone in the hamster's beady black eyes because today the school inspector's coming. Wait! Everyone started to panic. The inspector can't see you like this, Anya cried. We just need to wait, Mr. Hansen said. I always change back after a while. But what if the inspector sees you before then? Tom said. He'll close the school, Chris wailed. We can't have a hamster teacher. Everyone looked at each other hopelessly. Suddenly, Anya smiled. I have a plan. Chapter 3. The knock at the door made everyone jump. Come in, Mr. Hansen called nervously. The headmasters walked in with a man in a suit. Inspector, this is Saturn class and their teacher, Mr. The headmistress froze as she looked at Mr. Hansen. He was sitting in his chair at the front of the classroom, wearing a knight's helmet. I'm Mr. Hansen, Mr. Hansen said from his hiding place behind his helmet. Good morning, Inspector. Tom held his breath. Would they make Mr. Hansen take his helmet off? Or notice that he wasn't moving at all? Today we're learning about medieval knights. Mr. Hansen explained quickly. So we thought wearing a helmet would help bring the lesson to life and hide the fact that Mr. Hansen's talking without moving his lips, thought Tom nervously. Very inventive, the inspector said, smiling, but then he frowned. Why is that cage door open? The inspector pointed at Gizmo's cage. I hope there is an animal running around the school. That would break several health and safety rules. Tom froze. Krish turned pale. Anya gulped. Of course not. Mr. Hansen stammered, thinking quickly. I bought that cage ready for a new class pet, but it hasn't arrived yet. I see, the inspector said. Good. Class pets are a wonderful idea. Keep up the good work. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief as the inspector and headmistress left the classroom. Well done, Anya, Mr. Hansen said, jumping onto the desk. This was an excellent plan. Anya beamed. I'm just glad it worked. It worked, and we can all relax now. I think you spoke too soon, said Krish. Gizmo is waking up. Gizmo shook his head, knocking the helmet to the floor with a clatter. Then he jumped down from the chair and ran out of the classroom on all fours. Stop him quick! Anya cried as everyone chased after him. Chapter 4. As everyone chased after him, poor terrified Gizmo ran out faster and faster down corridor after corridor and then went outside. Oh no! Tom said. What if he gets out of the school? Double oh no! Anya cried. There's the inspector! Sure enough, the headmistress and inspector were starting at Mr. Hansen as he ran across the school field on all fours, followed by his entire class. We have to stop Gizmo, Tom yelled. But how? I've got an idea, Chris said, running back inside. Poor Gizmo ran all the way across the school field, then tried to scramble up the fence to get away. He was very confused that he couldn't climb it. Shh, Gizmo, it's okay, Tom said, reaching out a hand to stroke him, but then he stopped. Was it weird to stroke your teacher's back, even if he was actually a hamster? Here, Chris said, running over with a carrot. Hamsters love carrots, right? Mom always gives me some in my lunchbox. Good thinking, Chris. Tom handed the carrot to Gizmo, who immediately started nibbling it happily. Phew! Now we just need to get him back inside, Anya said. What's going on over him? Said a voice. Tom froze. It was the inspector. We have to get him back. We always have a quick run between lessons, Chris said quickly. Mr. Hansen says it's good for us to get fresh air. Yes, Anya said. It keeps us fit and helps him focus. The inspector nodded. Then he frowned. But what are you doing now, Mr. Hansen? The teacher didn't reply. He was still nibbling his carrot. We're having a drama class, Tom said quickly. We have to guess what animal Mr. Hanson is pretending to be. He can't talk because he's in character. And animals can't talk, Chris said. Usually, Tom glared at him. The inspector looked at Mr. Hanson. Well, he's clearly pretending to be a hamster. Of course, Anya said. Well done, Inspector. Now we'll all have to pretend to be hamsters too. Immediately, the children all started nibbling and scratching, pretending to be hamsters. Let me show you the rest of school now, the hamsters said quickly, leading the inspector away. As soon as they were out of sight, everyone sighed with relief. Thank goodness that's over, Mr. Hampson said. Mr. Hampson, you've changed it back. Anya cried. Phew indeed, Mr. Hampson said, smiling. But what happened with the inspector? How on earth did you explain why I was running around on all fours? Chris and Tom told him we're keeping fit, then doing a drama class. Anya sighed. How clever, Mr. Hampson said. Thank you all. Your quick thinking has saved my job and probably saved the school. Everyone beamed, but then Tom frowned. But if you're Mr. Hampson, where on earth is Gizmo? Gizmo must still be in the classroom where I was before I changed back. Back, Mr. Hampson said. We have to find him before the inspector sees him. Anya cried. You heard what he said. Having a wild animal running around breaks lots of health and safety rules. I'll get more carrots, Chris cried. Chapter 5. Everyone searched the classroom for Gizmo. They looked under desks, on top of cupboards. Being behind the radiators, there was no sign of him anywhere. Gizmo, everyone called. Gizmo, where are you? He couldn't be anywhere, Tom said anxiously. We'll never find him. And the inspector sees him. All our hard work today will be for nothing, Anya sighed. Tom, Mr. Hampson said suddenly. Look! He covered his nose and mouth with his handkerchief and pointed at the cage. Gizmo, thank goodness, Tom said, locking the cage quickly. Phew! It's finally over, Anya grinned. Suddenly there was a knock on the door and the inspector walked in. Everyone froze. What now? I just wanted to congratulations you, Mr. Hampson. The inspector said, I've been very impressed with the enthusiasm and creativity we put into your teaching. Well, I have a great class, Mr. Hampson said, smiling at everyone. Everyone beamed. Oh, and I see your class pet has arrived. The inspector smiled, peering into the cage. What is it? A rat? No! Oh no! He turned pale and started backing away. Is it That's Gizmo! Tom said nervously. My hamster! Oh, thank goodness, the inspector said. I thought it was Gerbil. I'm allergic to Gerbils. Everyone laughed. The end.